SVG-TV's news for Friday, March 7th, 2025. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. Consumers can expect improved access to banking services as amendments have been made to the Banking Act. The Banking Amendment Bill 2025, which was passed in Parliament yesterday, addresses consumer and data protection, market inclusion, and grants the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, the ECCB, the authority and oversight over licensed financial institutions. Minister of Finance Kimberly Gonsalves, who tabled the bill, singled out the new Basic Banking Initiative, which now allows vulnerable individuals to open a bank account.
And the elements of a basic bank account are essentially that the bank account will be free to open, it will not attract any charges for deposits or withdrawals, it will accrue interest, it is not subject to a minimum balance, but it may be subject to a maximum balance because this is a basic bank account, and it does not have an associated checking or overdraft facility. So it's a very simplified bank account, and the understanding will be that this is somebody who is not likely to be a money launderer or a terrorist financier or somebody who's going to be doing a whole bunch of international transactions from their bank account. They want to deposit some money, they want to withdraw some money. They want the salary to go into the bank account, they want to take out some money. They want to write a check, they want to buy something. Well, as I say,
The Finance Minister highlighted that with the authority invested in the ECCB, they are now empowered to set maximum fees and charges for consumers that are applied by financial institutions.
The central bank has the authority now to affix a cap on fees and charges that a licensed financial institution may impose. Very often you hear consumers saying, boy, the charge to use that, write a check, to come into the office, to transfer money is too high. And the central bank typically has said, well, we have no power under the Banking Act to regulate how much a bank can charge for some of these fees. Now the central bank has that authority. To whether how aggressively it is used is another matter, but now it has the teeth to apply these changes.
The ECCB can now also investigate complaints by consumers and breaches by banks. Additionally, the amendment allows for undercover investigations by the central bank.
Madam Speaker, mystery shopping, and those of us who watch reality TV know essentially what mystery shopping is. You don't go in and say, I am the central bank and I'm here to inspect you, because then everybody's on their best behavior. Somebody comes in as John Public, not identifying themselves in any way, and they walk in and they try to do a transaction. If they hear that the bank is doing something bad or wrong, you just come in, you do it. But it is nonetheless part of an official investigation by the central bank. They're just not announcing their arrival in advance. And now they have this ability to do this mystery shopping. That's something. Pardon me? Undercover. Fair enough.
The changes at the banks are expected to take effect next month, April 2025. Many residents on Union Island continue to receive electricity powered by generators. However, Prime Minister Dr. Gonsalves says this should soon come to an end as the transmission and distribution of power lines are expected to be completed this month. He made this announcement during his ministerial statement in Parliament yesterday.
360 of the 1,315 of all the customers, that is to say business and domestic, they're connected, because there are a lot of businesses which are still without their roofs. Should point out, Madam Speaker, we have assisted with some, but we are focusing on the government buildings, and we are focusing on the shelters, the housing. 100% of the high voltage lines completed. Only 10 poles on the low voltage line network remain unplanted. The work on the transmission and distribution network will be wrapped up within the next 2 weeks, which I think is amazing work.
Meanwhile, giving an update on the restoration of electricity on Mairo, the Prime Minister said that the work is in its advanced stages. He assured that the restoration of electricity will continue unabated throughout the year, with plans to complete the process as quickly as possible to ensure reliable service for residents on the island.
All generators are available. Approximately 92 of the 142 of all the customers are connected. Inspections for more houses to be connected planned for tomorrow. Repairs to the physical infrastructure at Vinlek and the cleanup of the site ongoing. The peak demand is at the moment about 50% as the normal circumstances for March. The photovoltaic system at the plant in Mairo is offline due to the damage and missing PV panels. The Rocky Mountain Institute is working with Vinlek to acquire and replace all PV panels. Assessment of the battery storage system is still ongoing, and plans are to the complete restoration of the Mairo PV battery storage system during the course of 2025.
Members on both sides of the House of Assembly on Thursday took the opportunity to pay tribute to the late Alan Cruickshank, former Member of Parliament for North Central Windward, who passed away on Saturday, March 1st, 2025 at the age of 73. Cruickshank served as MP for South Central Windward from 1984 to 2001 under the New Democratic Party administration. The leaders of both sides of the House paid glowing tributes to Cruickshank, describing him as a good man who served the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines well.
He did so to the best of his ability and made his contribution towards uplifting the lives and living of all Vincentians. I knew him since he was a boy. I visited Alan the day before he died, when he was at ICU. When someone dies, Madam Speaker, all contestation ceases, and a man's life is taken in to the whole. He was a very good husband and father. His children are all accomplished, making something of their lives. I think that he left the world better than he met it, and his contribution was important in that regard.
Alan Cruickshank, Madam Speaker, was a long-serving member of this Parliament. He was a minister for over 17 years in the NDP government, held various portfolios: agriculture, foreign affairs, education. He contributed tremendously to the post-independence development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as part of the New Democratic Party government led by Sir James Mitchell. He was a valued, trusted, and well-respected member of that team. What was remarkable, among many things that were remarkable about Alan Cruickshank, but for us in the New Democratic Party, is that he was always there, Madam Speaker, to lend support, to speak frankly as he saw things, but always respectfully and constructively. We feel his loss very keenly.
Cruickshank will be accorded an official funeral. Almost a week after news broke that an inquiry was made by Senior Magistrate Tamika McKenzie regarding how a St. Lucian, whom she had ordered to be remanded in prison, was repatriated without the court's permission, the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force today issued a statement on the matter. The statement from the SVG Police Force acknowledged that although some missteps were made during the process, none of them were done out of disrespect for the court. The SVG police force explained that the actions were taken purely out of exigency of the situation and the national security concerns associated with the presence of the wanted suspect in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Acknowledging recent discussions over the matter involving the St. Lucia national Chester King, who entered St. Vincent and the Grenadines illegally, did not clear within immigration and customs authorities and was subsequently charged for an immigration violation before being remanded at His Majesty's prison. The RSVG police force clarified the sequence of events. The RSVG police force said that during the time of King's detention, credible information was received from the Royal St. Lucia police force that King was wanted in St. Lucia in connection with several heinous murders. A warrant for King's arrest issued by the High Court of St. Lucia was dispatched to the authorities in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines police force stated that in an effort to facilitate the suspect's appearance before the High Court in St. Lucia, King was repatriated back to his home country. St. Vincent and the Grenadines will join the rest of the world tomorrow, Saturday, March 8th, to observe International Women's Day. President of the National Council of Women, the NCW, Beverly Richards, says this year's theme for all women and girls' rights, equality, empowerment is crucial to accelerating action for women's rights to be achieved.
This year, 2025, is a pivotal moment in the global pursuit of gender equality and women's empowerment, as it marks the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, and 5 more years to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Therefore, we must accelerate action or we may not see gender parity in governance, parliaments, or peace table. Women have a right to equal participation. Once in leadership roles, they can make a difference that benefits the whole society. As dynamic youth leaders of change, galvanizing women and men to get involved, claim their rights, strengthen their communities, and protect their planet.
Richards listed several actions that need to be taken in order to unlock equal rights, power, and opportunities for all in a feminist future. She emphasized the need for both men and women to play a role in creating a more equitable society.
Actions to be taken place is advance women and girls' rights, challenging all forms of violence, discrimination, and exploitation. 2, to promote gender equality by addressing systemic barriers, remove entrenched inequalities, elevate the voices of marginalized women and girls, and to ensure inclusivity and empowerment. And also to foster empowerment, redefine power structures by ensuring inclusive access to education, employment, leadership, and decision-making processes, ensuring that women and girls have the opportunity to lead and innovate.
The president of the NCW saluted all women of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as she urged them to remain empowered and to know their rights. In commemoration of International Women's Day 2025, Chief Health Promotions Officer within the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Shanika John, emphasized the importance for women across St. Vincent and the Grenadines to prioritize their health and wellness. During an appearance on NBC Radio's Face-to-Face program this morning, John highlighted that women must take the time to care for themselves and actively track their health and wellness journey.
I'm also still concerned that as women, we tend to just go and push ourselves a lot. And sometimes we forget to check in and tap in on ourselves, tap in on those that are close to us. To say, hey, when was the last time you checked on your health? Mm-hmm. When was the last time you checked up on your mammogram? You know, the hospital services is now offering mammograms with no appointment. You know, this is something I think we should go. And I think this is the conversation that we really want to also have among women, and we want women to have among their other circles as well, because it's important for us to be the boss and boss lady and boss babe and all of these different aspects that we would hear, these different slogans. it's important for us to take care of ourselves.
Noting that each woman is unique, the health promotions officer explained that what works for one individual may not work for another. This is why it is crucial for every woman to take personal responsibility for her individual health and well-being, tailoring care to her specific needs.
I think the whole idea behind the team is really for women to come together to take the necessary action that they need to get to the step in which they want to get. And I'm saying that very broad because everybody's different. I think as women, we are all in different spaces, different phases of our lives, different intentions. And so the next step looks different for everyone. I think what is important to note is that you can't take action if you're not well. And when I say well, I mean a complete state of well-being and not just merely the absence of disease, because that's what we know that health is. It is more your physical state, your well-being, your social aspect, and of course, there is more to it than just what is on your medical report, so to speak. So I think one of the things that we really want to prioritize from us at the Ministry of Health is really encouraging women that before we really go forward to that next step, to take the necessary actions that we need to, it's important for us to prioritize our health and well-being.
John further outlined several ways in which women can start prioritizing their health and wellness. These include keeping track of key health metrics such as blood pressure and cholesterol, as well as increasing regular screenings for various ailments like breast cancer, cervical cancer, and diabetes.
This week was World Obesity Day. And one of the interesting things about obesity is that it is the driver, unfortunately, for a lot of other health complications and other health diseases. So where are your numbers? Are you hypertensive and you don't know? Are you diabetic and you don't know? Are you obese and you don't know? So these are things that you could definitely know, and these are things that you could check at your nearest health center, and these are free of charge. Basically a slip in or a slip out, or you could visit one of our health fairs, and these services will be readily available for you. We move to more additional screening. So we're talking about your pap smear, your mammogram, your breast self-examination. If you are 21 years and older, you should start thinking about, should I be doing my pap smear? And that is something that we really want to have the discussion about. And then we say that for women who are sexually active and for even those who are partaking in sexual activities, but you're not necessarily having sexual intercourse, then you still need to have your pap smear, especially where the HPV virus can be spread from person to person.
In addition, John urged women to educate themselves on their health needs and to seek advice from healthcare professionals when in doubt. Meanwhile, today, youths from the Marion House, along with the director, held a walk around Kingstown, encouraging people to take care of a woman and to avoid abusing them. In an interview with SVG-TV News, Oliver highlighted that normally they hold a picket outside of their office building. However, this year they felt it more needed to be done to ensure that their message was effectively received.
The Marion House Youth Assistance Program, the youths today said that tomorrow is International Women's Day. When you focus on women and young girls in our country. And it was their idea. It was their idea. Let me hear your voice. Now. It was their idea to have that walk. We usually do every single, we go up there and we address the issues on our placards. But they wanted to walk so people would have seen what they had on their placards. Knowledge sharing. They thought that the issues that they had in their hands written on those pieces of paper were critical for Vincentians to remember.
Some of the youths from Marion House shared some of the issues currently faced by many women in society, including domestic violence and limited access to resources and support systems. They emphasized the importance of creating a safer environment for women to live and thrive in.
One of the primary issues I myself have seen around the place commonly and heard a lot would be finances. They're not paid appropriately for the amount of work they do. They're kept down on that end rather heavily if they need to take a break for any given reason that severely hampers any pay they could gain. And in other situations, they end up suffering by default, and later on, if any issues happen, they might even end up losing their jobs over that. No matter if they're working day in, day out, whether it's from 9 to 7, like another case, they aren't being given the appropriate funds for how much they're working.
They need to go through plenty stress and man like abuse woman, pregnant them and leave them there and then they destroy them and they cannot think them. Man is like go on and leave them and just struggle on their own and they cannot think them.
The Marion House director stated that more programs need to be facilitated to identify and address the issues affecting both youth and women in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Years ago, we had 98 youth groups. All of them disappeared. You used to have a national youth council that used to come up with policies and programs to address the challenges that our Vincentian youths faced. None of them know there anymore. You don't have the 98 youth groups. You don't have the National Youth Council, but you have a youth department. So Marion House, having recognized that, is asking the youth department and is asking the people who deal with skills training to assist us in reorganizing, reinstituting the youth groups throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines so we could go to them, talk with them, find out what challenges they're experiencing, and run programs to address them.